Hey everyone, welcome back to another MG Lifestyle Solutions lifestyle review video. In this video I'm going to be covering 6 different watch bands that I purchased for the Galaxy Watch. If you missed that review, it was a Galaxy Watch fitness review. You can click right here, check that out. But for now, this video is covering the differences between the bands that I've been using over the past couple weeks. I'm going to cover what I liked and what I didn't like, and hopefully you can make a decision for yourselves. So here we go, let's jump right in. Alright, so jumping in, here is the band that came factory with the Galaxy Watch. Pretty much standard design. It is a rubberized band, very flexible, pretty comfortable, nothing crazy. So I wanted to kind of compare it with some different options, see how they feel, and see how functional they are too, in terms of seeing if any of them improved the watch's ability to get your heart rate, both just day to day and then more importantly during fitness activities. So chat about that. So the great thing about all of these bands, and just I guess the Samsung feature, and I think it's a new feature in a lot of newer watches, is the way that the bands come on and off. Super simple. You don't need to take it to a watch store or back to the store. You find these little knobs, if you will, on the back, pull down, and they pop right out. So it makes changing these bands out super simple. Just like that. Here you go, and it's ready to go for the next one. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how easily it is to put a band on. So typically I like to start with the side that is furthest away from the little knob here, and you kind of line up that hole here, get that side in, push down, make sure it's all the way in, and then so you gotta just, there you go, finds the other hole and it's in there. Okay, and it has a nice connection, no issues there. Okay, so this band I got on Amazon. It is very similar to the band that came with the watch. I just went for slightly different color. Oop, must have went on. Okay, so I got a watch face that kind of matches that color, but again, very similar to the original band. Little differences in terms of the design, in terms of the structural lines, but overall, the material is similar. I will say this band is a little bit more dense, and it doesn't flex as well, believe it or not, as this, or at least the resistance might look the same, but the resistance in, you can kind of see how floppy it is or whatnot. But so it does this stock band conforms to your wrist a little better, and also when you do have it on, the tail, wherever it is, tends to poke out, because no matter what I did, the second little slot here would always come off, and this would kind of flap out a little bit. So depending on how small your wrists are, if you're coming all the way here, if that continues to happen, that would probably be a much bigger pain in the butt than if you only had a little bit there. So just a little detail to consider when choosing the band. Alright, so this is the third band that I purchased for the watch. It is also rubberized, got it on Amazon just like the others. It mimics the Apple Watch design, so it's a little thinner than the others, very flexible, and it conforms to the wrist really well. Very easy to put on. You just kind of clip in to one of those holes, and then you put the rest into the slot here, and it stays nice and firmly. Again, because of its flexibility, it hugs the wrist really well, and I didn't have any issues while working out, anything like that. Didn't come apart, didn't lose the watch, so I was happy about that. And one thing I will say though, there was a little bit of an odor after wearing it to the gym for a couple weeks, and that's, you know, even despite wearing it in the shower, cleaning it, it was still a little funky. So I wanted to try a different one, because that's no good. You don't want your watch smelling. All right, here is the fourth design of the bands. It is similar to the previous one, although the material is a little bit more firm, a little thicker. Different company probably with a very similar design. And this one, obviously, as you can see, has holes throughout the band. So I figured if I'm getting it wet, if I'm sweating in it, this will allow it to dry better, and hopefully prevent any of that odor from developing. But the overall attachment is the same. It is also very flexible, and the nice thing is you can, you know, basically use the design features of these holes as the attachment points. And same deal, you just fit the rest of it in there, and it stays on the wrist quite well. Again, I wore it working out, crossfitting, and it did a good job. You know, I didn't lose the watch, didn't come off, and it had a nice firm grip to get the heart rate. And I'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. One thing I will say with this one, unlike the other one here that was very similar, same attachment, this one here gave me a little irritation due to this metal attachment point. I don't know if that was a coincidence or what. You know, these look pretty much identical. I wore each strap for about a week or two, and I didn't have any reaction with this one, and I happen to have a reaction with this one. So I took it off, I washed it, cleaned it with soap, you know, let the little irritation recover, put it back on, and you know, nothing else further developed. So I don't know what was up with that. Maybe just a little bacteria that irritated my skin. But something to be aware of. I would recommend that you wash these thoroughly before you wear them. That's something I didn't do. Now you know, and hopefully you can avoid that yourselves. Alright, so out of the 6 bands total that I tried, these 4 were the ones that I tried while working out and exercising. I bathed in them, I slept in them, I pretty much wore them consistently for a couple weeks each. And honestly, they all were about the same, other than, you know, the light sensitivity that I had with this one. Overall, the way that they attach and secure onto your wrists were all appropriate or all adequate. I didn't have any issues with them coming off my wrist while at the gym, and I was doing burpees and box jumps and Olympic lifts with the watch, and it did fine in terms of staying on my wrist. I do feel that you get a little more security with the traditional mounting system here, but I like these two because of the material and how well it really forms to your wrist, and it makes it really less noticeable, whereas these are a little bit more bulky, and you can really tell that they're on just by that little difference. I mean, you judge for yourself, but I think I could definitely tell. In terms of their attachments, they all were great. They're all just as easy to take off and put on, and I didn't have any issues with them popping off during the middle of the day, during work or whatever. So they all stayed on well. Again, keep in mind, I only used each of these bands for a couple weeks at a time, so there's no longevity testing at this time, at least not with me. But I'm sure they'll hold up pretty well as long as you're not getting it caught up in something and pulling. In that case, it'll probably break off. But the nice thing is you can just get one of these individually and pop them in, replace them. Pretty simple, do it yourself, not an issue. In terms of the heart rate, so I really didn't find that any of these did any better getting the heart rate while working out, while getting that high intensity. I really thought maybe one of these two would do a little better than the originals that I tried, but again, at those maximal levels, up 150 plus, it definitely, the watch just struggles regardless of how tight you keep it to your wrist. And I tried it keeping it super tight or keeping it a little loose and just kind of a regular comfortable fit. I will say just the standard fit of how you would probably wear a regular watch works best. I think too tight is actually bad as well, because you're potentially constricting and restricting some blood flow, and especially if you're doing any type of gripping or powerlifting or lifting with a bar, where your grip is already getting challenged. You don't need to be basically causing added compression around your wrist. All right, so let's jump into the last two that are a little bit more just lifestyle and a little bit more fashionable, if you will, versus the rubber options. All right, here we go with the fifth option. This is quite different than the other four so far that I've talked about. So as you can see, this is a leather option, nice and stylish, little kind of light brown, looks a little rustic. I try to pick a nice kind of fashionable watch face, which is one thing I love about these watches. You can really kind of mix and match to your preference. Has actually a very nice feel. I think it is genuine leather. I can't tell, but it looks pretty good usually. Yeah, usually when it leaves marks like that, that's a sign that it is real leather. And you can even see, again, I only wore it for a couple weeks now, and it's already leaving a mark at that level. So I do imagine this will probably wear out. We'll see how long it will last, but again, nice grasp and connection point. Simple to put on, and it's nice and sturdy. It's a nice looking strap. But again, not something I'd want to wear to the gym, or I haven't showered with it. I try not to get this one wet. So if you're someone that is gonna constantly be working out, or you rather not take your watch off when you go into the shower, then this might be just for special occasions. Or again, they're all so easy to take on and interchange that it's really not a big deal. But again, I don't know if I'd want to make this a daily band, if indeed I'm working out with the watch and using it for all the fitness aspects of it. All right, with the last and final band, I went with a traditional kind of metal, maybe aluminum style band that kind of clips like so. Okay, biggest difference here is that the bearings, or whatever you call them, to actually attach it to the watch are separate. Okay, so you have to take them and insert, and again, you just want to make sure that the part that opens and closes is on that side, or else you won't get very far going the other way. So you take that, and everything else works the same. So there, boom, just like that. That side is in. There it is. It was right under it. So same deal. Take that, put that in there. This is a little trickier since it's one piece. You have to open it up just to give yourself a little bit more room, but again, overall pretty simple. Get that in there, pull down, there you go. Okay, so we're talking seconds to install this. Nice fancy watch face for the metal band. And slide it on, clip it in, And there you go. Kind of matches the little ring that slides, kind of that titanium look. Looks pretty sharp if you don't ask me. Alright, so once you have that on, obviously you have to slide your wrist through, and I already have this adjusted to my size. So, you know, there's a little bit of a wiggle, not too much. I made sure that it's not too tight, because once you do set it, it's pretty much fixed. But you can see I have a nice fancy watch face to go along with the metal strap. And the cool thing with this is it does come with this right here, which allows you to take out any extra links to basically size the band for your wrist. So it's pretty simple. You just twist it out, the pin comes out, you take as many out as you need, one from each side at a time, retest, and until you find that perfect fit that meets your needs. Alright, so obviously those last two are more for the weekend maybe, or just going out, something for a little bit more fancier occasion, if you will, if you don't want to go with one of those rubber options. But again, because it's so easy to exchange these straps, I think it's cool to have a couple different options. You know, one watch with all these different watch faces, get a few different bands, and it's basically like you have, you know, unlimited amount of watches basically. You can do the math on the combinations possible. That's out of my realm, but again, pretty cool feature and pretty cool band options to go for any style, any occasion. You know, I wouldn't recommend working out in these two, but overall a good option to have for a little bit more style. Alright, so out of those 6 options, which one am I going to run with on a daily basis? Given my daily activities, given that I'm going to be wearing the watch for a lot of the fitness purposes, I did go with the rubberized option with the holes. I just feel that whenever I get it wet, whether it be in the shower or at the gym, it has the best chance of drying the quickest and hopefully avoiding any of that skin irritation. If for some reason that does return, I'll have to find a better option to wear on a daily basis. But for now, I'm going to go with that, run with it. It's comfortable, gets the job done, and the nice thing is too, you know, if you want to customize it to your style, they have tons of different options when you're ordering it. So literally anything you can think of, black and yellow and red and purple and all that type of stuff. So you can color code it, coordinate to your outfit if that's something you're into. Again, all of these I got on Amazon, except for obviously the factory strap. But hopefully that helps in making a decision for your watch. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. Again, if you haven't seen the overall Galaxy Watch fitness review, make sure to click on the link, watch that video, check it out, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.